This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The cooperative movement in the Bahamas has grown significantly over the years and has witnessed unprecedented growth in the 1990s. Legislation is now before the upper chamber to further govern the movement, whose assets continue to grow.
The compendium of cooperative bills will seek to bring about modern regulations to oversee the industry. Government leader in the Senate, Allison Maynard Gibson, claims that cooperatives manage millions of dollars and represent big businesses. She says legislation will help to protect such financial institutions from money laundering and financing of terrorism.
These bills protect cooperatives and enhance the second pillar of our economy, financial services. The compendium has been signed off as CFATF, therefore FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force compliant. Many new job opportunities will be created in the compliance and other fields. And Madam President, I hope that schools and colleges are advising our young people about the plethora of opportunities that exist in financial services.
Opposition leader in the Senate, Carl Bethel, commended government on the new piece of legislation, but noted that it was long overdue.
I think that the bill today is the bill that could well and should have been passed in 2005. The bill today, however, is only trying to catch up with where we should have been in 2005. And you know, I've often heard members opposite who are quick to say, oh, y'all, meaning the FNM, didn't do this, and then when that happened, you had to do that, and you had to do that because you didn't do this way back then. Well, I'm returning your favor and pointing out to you, members opposite, that you have to do this today because you didn't do it back then. And between then and now, you've come under enormous pressure from those global financial, regulatory, and interventionist agencies who like to tell little small countries what to do, you know.
Officials from the Department of Public Health recognize that young people between the ages of 15 and 24 continue to be among those with the highest rate of sexually transmitted diseases. The most prevalent are gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. For the second year, the Department of Public Health is celebrating STD/STI Awareness Month that opened with a ceremony at the Mall of Marathon this morning. Under the theme, STI prevention is HIV prevention. The Department of Public Health's program manager, Dr. Philip Swan, says safe sex and frequent testing are crucial.
Getting yourself tested for STIs is one of the most important things you can do to protect your health. Not only is it quick and simple, it's also confidential, especially in our system. It is important to be honest with your healthcare provider, very important to be honest with your healthcare provider as to the type of sex that you engage in. So they'll be provided with the information to recommend the appropriate STI testing and prevention guidance. And if you're not comfortable with talking with your regular healthcare provider about STIs, there are numerous clinics about the place that you can also get tested at.
In 2013, public health officials confirmed that 330 HIV/AIDS diagnoses, with more than 13,000 cases being diagnosed in the Bahamas up to December 31st of last year. Officials say 1 out of 2 sexually active people will get an STI at the age of 25 and will not know about it. Young women outpace males with infections 3 to 1, and in the case of chlamydia, 5 to 1.
The STI program under the Department of Public Health has as its mandate to assist the prevention and control of STIs through promotion of healthy lifestyles, health education, counseling, and treatment. Our goal is to eradicate STIs in the Bahamas.
A small group of melodious singers from Cumberland, Georgia are in the Bahamas for the first time this week to share their ministry of music with several non-profit and charitable organizations. The Camerata singers spent their first singing engagement at the installation service for the Bahamas National Council for Disability last night, courtesy of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The 21-member group consists of Seventh-day Adventist boarding students from diverse backgrounds between the ages of 14 to 18 years. Chorale Director Candace Nesbitt is excited about the group's musical journey in Paradise.
This year God's blessed us to be able to be here in the Bahamas, and this is our first singing engagement here at the council here, and we'll be at the conference office on Friday, and then Sabbath we'll be at a couple of churches, and Sunday also. We're also here to visit and see what the island has, enjoy the food, the culture, and all the activities that they have.
Seventh-day Adventist Projects Coordinator Patrice Gordon believes this week-long musical ministry will also give the young singers a taste of the best the Bahamas has to offer.
And I'm especially excited because they were able to make their first stop with the disabled, and I know that they feel the appreciation of what they have to give. And then on the other hand, for those who are receiving, they will also be meeting with our National Children's Choir and Patricia Buzzard on Sunday, so there will be an opportunity for interaction across the board for their cultural exchange. They are here to see the Bahamas. They will be going to several of the cultural spots here to see what being best is all about in the Bahamas.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Luxury property auction firm Concierge Auctions has added the former president of Victoria's Secret Oceanfront Estate in Freeport to its May 14th portfolio auction at the Trump Soho Hotel in New York City. Currently listed for $13.8 million, the property is located on 1.44 acres and includes 150 feet of private beachfront. The auction will be held without reserve in cooperation with James Sarles of James Sarles Realty, Colwell Banker. In other business news, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas signed a memoranda of understanding last week under the European Union's Alternative Investment Fund Managers Directive with the securities regulator of Cyprus, Austria, and Spain. This now brings the total number of these types of MOUs executed by the Securities Commission to 27. And in international news, HSBC says it has been placed under formal criminal investigation by French magistrates over alleged past tax-related offenses at its Swiss private bank. The company added that bail of just under $2 billion has been imposed. HSBC said it believed that the French magistrate's decision was without legal basis and the bail is unwarranted and excessive. It added that it would appeal and defend itself vigorously. The French claims relate to the conduct of HSBC's Swiss private bank in 2006 and 2007. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
A family tonight is speaking out after the grave of their loved one was destroyed.
And they're looking for a solution to avoid another family having to deal with this grave situation. Janine Noel Ferguson shares their story.
Miguel Major, who often visits the gravesite of his daughter Candace, who was only 17 when she was brutally murdered several years ago, says that every year on her birthday, his family would bring her a slice of cake to mark the occasion, and other family members would pray that she is resting in peace.
My daughter, she was raped and murdered in December of 2011 in Western Cemetery. She was buried here December.
So imagine the family's horror and surprise when they visited the Western Cemetery on Nassau Street several weeks ago and found the gravesite desecrated.
When I came out and discovered that the grave was not there, it made me feel as if, okay, because of the whole situation that went down, the way that she died, it made me feel as if, okay, well, we're starting to relive the whole scene all over again.
They went to the spot and they started to dig, and they found where the grave was destroyed. It was broken down, and all of the slabs, some of the slabs dropping, and
but the coffin was still in place.
Well, we just yesterday, the grave digger, they was checking it, and the coffin is still there.
The majors say this type of destruction is heartbreaking as they are still coming to terms with Candace's death. They informed ZNS News about the repeated attempts made to rectify the situation, but have not been able to obtain answers from the Ministry of Works responsible for cemeteries.
They're saying that we have to pay for the slabs, to put the slabs out. I don't think we should have to pay for the slabs because, everything was already paid for. Who's responsible for it, I think, should be responsible for paying for the slabs to finish repair.
ZNS News also made repeated attempts to contact an official from the Ministry of Works, but they proved unsuccessful. The family hopes that something can be done so that this episode is not repeated with any other family.
Then maybe they need to come down and check too and see if any of the other graves, because it looked like there's a grave to my daughter's foot that probably was the same way. So the thing for me is I just want it to be repaired. My daughter, her killer he's still at large. She's dead, and her grave has been disrupted.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
A coastal project in South Andros is expected to not only improve the environment but also create jobs on the island. President of South Andros' Handicraft and Manufacturing Association, Emily Ramming, says the United Nations-based global environmental facility has been in the works since last April. The necessary equipment recently arrived to get the initiative going, leaving Ramming and others excited for the opportunities.
We are so thankful because that in itself will help us with the jobs, creating, more cottage industries for persons living here. And the other side of the project is the coastal restoration, where we are getting rid of some invasives like the Australian pine and the scavolas, especially the casuarinas or the Australian pine, replanted, get persons involved in coal making, and some persons have already started, even though we haven't had our workshop yet, but persons are seeing it as a means of creating, job.